We're live. Could maybe test that, but it probably doesn't really matter. I'm sure we're fine. Let's get some music going. Alright, today's soundtrack is Half-Life 2. Alright, so we were working on passives at the end of last dev session. We will continue in that direction. Hey, Rugops, welcome to the stream. So let's just get started. So, passives dictionary. Hey, fun time, Fred Boy. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? So we fixed the brackets. We did that a while ago. I believe that was fixed everywhere. Uh-huh. So we implemented through resist. Quick recovery. While stamina's below, gain an extra and stamina per second. So we'll just go in order. So this should plug in on stamina regen, which is already implemented somewhere in the combat scripts. Probably. I'm doing all right. As good as things can be, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm considering playing Zoo Tycoon only in, like, a real vague sense. Like, I don't have any actual plans to play it, right? But I wouldn't mind playing it. I think you fully complete your idea for a challenge park, but it won't be possible for several months. Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to remember. There should be... It's got to be in the script. It's not an object that handles this. It should be something that's like end of turn functionality. Like all status handling. Maybe it's under... Oops. Wrong button. Maybe it's under here. Because this is where all the timers are. Hey, Mutasaurus, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. No, it's just timers. Let's look at this. We have a layout, we have status handler. We have enemy AI. Finish your starter pack for your idea. Cool. What is it? Maybe layout has it? Yeah, okay, layout's got the alarms, so this must be... This is the end condition. These are the stepwise occurrences. This is where cooldown handling is. Yeah, here's the stamina handling. Okay, this is where we need to plug this in. So we do, hold on, let me copy this from the passive dictionary. JP Malta. So like your starting animal selection is what you're saying for the starter pack? We'll just copy this for reference. So we need to do like an if statement if something like that, right? If quick recovery 1 in player dot in global dot PC. Actually, this doesn't work because in is not a valid thing here. Dot passives. What is the function? We do something with arrays. Array contains, that's it. Array, comma, quick recovery, comma 1. We'll call this QR logic for quick recovery. And then we just do if QR logic. QR logic 1. Oh, I get you. Sorry. Yeah, you said park. I totally just misread park as pack. That is why I was completely thrown off. I get you now. My bad. Let me double check the syntax. So if we go to title stuff, I think go to here. Yeah, that's correct. It's consolidated one word, capitalizing preserved, comma, the thing. Thinking about implementation, it's a little awkward because of how we bury the tier in the naming. It'll work. It's fine. This doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, and these have defaults, so this is all we need here. Hey, Torin, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. So, if this is passed, let's call this PC QR Logic 1. For player character, quick recovery, tier 1. Hey, Cryo, I'm doing as well as I can be, I suppose. So, on tier 1, base is 0. Scales by 10. So this only scales the tier. Okay. And so what we want to do... Yeah, your message is fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Everybody left some nice messages, so... I guess we do it like this. We do if PC QR logic 1 and global dot TC stam is less than or equal to 10. And then we do global dot PC stam plus equals an additional 1. Ten minus global.pc.fear divided by 10. Global.pc.stam divided by room speed. So do I want to do 1 over room speed? I forget how this works exactly. I think so, because the room speed is like 60 FPS, right? So if it's 1 per second, it should be 1/60th. Yeah. Okay, then we just copy this. Oops, we copy this whole thing. For tier 2 and tier 3. Two, which is 20 stamina or less. Quick recovery 2. Quick recovery 3, PC logic 3, PC logic 3, stam less than or equal to 30. We could consolidate this, of course. Actually, don't know if we really need this, but let's do this. Let's make sure this logic is foolproof. It should be unnecessary, but it's cleaner visually. Sorry, I lost track of what my other thought was. Well, anyway, this works. I feel like this ability is kind of dog shit, I'm not gonna lie. That's fine. Balancing is a different path, for sure. Okay, now all we do here is we change PC to EN for enemy logic. Which includes changing this to N. And this. And this. Okay, that ability should be fully implemented. Your oldest brother's playing JWE3. Good for him. I also can't wait for the inevitable Ceratopsian pack. Okay, EN, 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 and an EN. Okay, that looks great. This one might be hard to test if it's working. We should test it. So we do this. Show debug message. Quick recovery trigger. Actually, let's put it in here. You know what? Put it in all tiers. Fuck it. Okay. Implementing quick recovery into the Carnotaurus. So we should be able to get below 30, and we should see a very clear indication that we have... I missed the drink cryo. I'm sorry, I didn't pop up correctly. I see it now. There it is. Weird that that doesn't pop up in the multi-chat. I never quite caught that that only shows up on the activity log and the Twitch chat specifically. Alright, assignment operator expected. Oh, whoops, I didn't delete the reference bit there. My bad. You like the Mangasar? What is this? Have I heard the last song of the Kauai? Oh, I don't know. Probably said that wrong as well. But actually, that sounds familiar. I don't know. Alright, let's jump into a battle. We want to burn our points here and see what happens. So, start burning stamina. Okay, quick recovery is working. So we do have quicker stamina regen until we hit 30. It may not be that perceptible visually. Okay. Cool. Works. Seems good. Let's suppress the output messages, but leave them in the code. Move on to the next passive ability. And mark this as implemented. Implemented. Yeah, not spell. Okay, there we go. Desperation. On attack, low health, all damage, and crit. Okay, let's copy this. This one's going to be a complicated one. I guess the place to start is parse passives. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open up a notepad. Streamers like to live dangerously and open up their notepad when they're streaming. Haha. If you know, you know. Okay. seen file lore goes crazy. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff I've seen. It's such a strange world that we live in a really bad way. Okay, so attacker, defender stats, blah, blah, blah. This is pulling the passives and iterating through. Right. So we hit Desperation. Split info 1 is chance. So split info... is the passive info. That's this stuff. I think there's got to be more than 2 nickels there, right, Rugops? That's pretty clearly been projection on a lot of parts of trying to scapegoat somebody else as a public threat when they're really the public threat. Yeah, definitely more than there should be. I think the T-Rex in Jurassic World, sir. I don't know what you mean by that, Torin. I'm sorry. I don't understand the statement. If 1 is chance... if 0 is on attack... Okay, so this triggers the first condition, on attack. This code is so fucking bad, and I don't know what to do about it. It's so hard to parse. People on Twitter trying to power skill races. That's... Twitter is a complete fucking mess. I've never been on Twitter, and I'm glad I was never on Twitter. The shit I see is wild. Okay, check the situation, split info 1... pass name 1 of rank. Check passive application status. So this is the first thing. This is what we need to do here. This will return 0 or 1 for the condition, which is going to be HP. And then this is checking subtype validity. And that's split info 2. Okay, so that's all. So this is already this is good. This will pass. So low health. So we got to go to check situation. Condition, name, and rank. If condition equals chance. Let's look back at this again. This is going... split info, the name, and the rank. So the condition, the ability, the rank of the ability. Yes. As long as they're making the white race look like frauds. We do be like that. Man. Yeah, so we just add our own condition check in here like this. So this goes boom if condition absolutely equals low health. And then how do we actually check this? Passive base. We need our health, and that's not included. So we got to add this. So we pass... health is actually a thing. We pass HP. let's call it current HP. If condition is low health based on current HP. So now we gotta add that down here. Which means we need to pull it somewhere. Attacker damage, defender, aim, and attacker. The current in-battle HP may not be here exactly. So this is where we go to parse passes, passing at global.pc. If attacker is enemy, plist, pdam. Evaluate the hit chance. Player 8, yeah, we do this is player hp.hp. Okay. Parse passives if attacker is player. Okay, so we gotta add HP here, pass the value, and this is fuck. This is I need to make sure I get the right HP stat for the one that's actually in battle. 0.enemy 0_enemy HP.HP, right? This is the lose condition. So this is the actual HP that's being tracked in the battle, the active current value. Yeah, which is modulated here. So we just pass this value here and here, but here it's enemy HP. Need to make sure that's right. 0.enemy HP.HP, yes. Why is that still flagged as red? Because we haven't added that to parse passives yet. So this goes up to here. Now we're using that value as current HP. Current HP is simply getting passed to check situation, right? Yes. Which is just a number. Okay, so now we gotta make sure that is the only like instance of that. Yeah, it is. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so now back to this. If condition is low health, so then we do yeah, we need to do this sort of thing here. We'll call this the ref HP, as in the reference. So the reference HP is global.passive, the passive name, the base value, and the scale. Now, should this be entry as 0? Yes. So So this, if it's rank 1, this will be 5. Rank 2 will be 10, and rank 3 will be 15. Do I eat Squidbillies for breakfast? Sorry, isn't that a show? I don't understand. So then if current HP... Oh, this is a numeric value. Okay, wait, what we do? Current HP dot... HP divided by current HP dot something else. Yeah, this is just pass through here. So what we need to do is when we pass this current HP. Wait. Oh, this is here twice. Wait a second. Parse passes. Current HP. Okay, I missed it here. Wait. Current HP. Yeah. Correct. This should have this twice too, I think. Fuck. Yeah, so we do this, and we do this. Pass up the entire structure. So it's HP and max. Max is lowercase. So now we go back up here. HP dot max HP. So this is now a percentage value. Well, decimal version of a percentage value. But then you have the reference. The reference value here is 5, 10, or 15. And this is percentage. So this has to be divided by 10. Less than or equal. Or if HP divided by 100, I mean. Apparently, Ornithischia is all screwed up now. What are my goals for this game, to have a stream other than just coding? It's just coding. That's all it ever is. So the goal right now is we're going to try and implement as many of the remaining passive abilities into the game. And then we need to finish up a few more attacks, and after that we start to add new animals to the game, but finally. So we're like maybe a couple streams from like implementing a bunch of new species, which will be fun. And quick, relatively speaking. How is Ornithischia all screwed up now? Okay, this should be not equals to, because it is phrased specifically as below. Okay. So 5 over 100 for 5%. And then would be 5 over 100 if you were at 5 and your max was 100. And that would not meet it, because it's phrased as being below. Looks good. This should be everything for the logic check. Why is this... Oh, we're missing a parenthesis. Here. On the ref HP. Where does scale come from? Wait. No, that's just the variable scale. Wait a second. This doesn't account for tiers. Oh no, it does. Sorry, prank is P. This is the rank. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking that was something else, but no, that's correct. That's exactly what it should be. Okay, so well, health is below condition is met, triggers the effect. Now we just got to actually add the effect that's being triggered. So that goes back here. Sit rep invalid are passed right here. Now we update here. Modded stat, string split, split info 3 at and. Okay. So this is splitting up and giving us damage and crit. So for each of the modded stats, if it's not an effect, wait. Okay, yeah. So this is this P plus modded stats J. And equals stat gain. So now we have to go to the stat gain thing. This is past the name of the passive, the attacker stats, the name of the attack, the rank, the modded stats, and the value, the rank or whatever, the index. Does this just work? This might just work. Let's check the stat gain function. Endval's passive base I index with passive scale I index. I index is passed here. Times the rank. If percent, if int. Okay, these are all flagged as percent. We should include that, the percent thing. Okay, we get the reference. Let's make this reference HP 2, which we do if P name class 0. Absolutely equals percent. If this ref HP2 equals ref HP divided by 100. And here we do, if this is int, this is just directly ported over. Ref 2 is ref 1. Because this is a actual value versus a percentage value. And then we compare, oh, this should be different. HP check. We do that. We do HP check equals this for the percent. And we do HP check equals current HP.HP directly. That should be it. Percentage, percentage, not percentage, not percentage, do the comparison, pass the logic. Okay. Probably could have implemented that with the check internal to both those, but it's fine. We can add more to this. This might be better long term for scalability. I don't know. Okay, and so then, yeah, we were doing the stat gain stuff. Have I heard of the Animal Planet Show lost tapes? I don't think so. So the base value index and the scale. Theoretically, this just works. But we need to think about this indexing and make sure this is correct. So this is here. This is J plus re-index value. Let's jot that down. Give me a second to get an envelope. So we're doing J plus... Wait, this is red index value. Is that a recurring typo? Or is that just not a thing that exists? This is re-index value. That's a typo that's never... How has that never been a problem? What the fuck? Maybe this has just never been triggered before? It might be. Let's make a note. WTF? Okay, so let's look back at the start of the code here now again. Let's go back through this another time. So we are parsing our passives. We go through the list. We find the one that we're interested in. We have an index value of I, which is where this is in the passive list. Re-index value is initialized at 0. So then we have the split info. If 1 is chance, we re-index by 1. Otherwise, we don't. So, where's J coming in? J is here. So J is per stat. So for this particular ability, we have J equals 0 and J equals 1. And re-index equals 0. So then we go through each one. We go to stat gain. We're passing this 0 and 1. That does not seem right. That seems like this should be re-indexed, right? So let's look at this one more time. So we probably want re-indexing to be 1. Because this is essentially... Yeah, this would essentially be programmed so that we could like add damage to an attack, right? So let's go back to the passives and just look at this. So the passives we have implemented have never been in this format that Desperation is in. We have things like Serrated Teeth. So there's a, on attack, there's a chance, this first column, to cause this effect, right? Where something like Extended Horns is horn attacks always deal this damage. So this... Yeah, this is expecting the first digit under base and scale to be the stat that is modified, but that's not true when it's conditional, and it's not true if there's... It's not true when it's conditional, period. Whenever there's some other thing it's checking that has to be defined in the logic that scales, I suppose. If it doesn't scale, then it can work. Right. So all we do is if split info 1 equals chance, or split info 1 equals low health. Re-index by 1. Wait, this is value 1 though. If value 1 is chance. Right, because 0 is on attack. Yeah, okay, that's correct. This is on attack low health. So this should be 1. And the other one is on attack chance. Okay, looks like that should work. Let's do a test. We go to the passive dictionary. We go to desperation. We might as well flag it as implemented, and then we're going to test it by making it crazy. We're going to make this plus like 1,000% damage. We scale it up insane. Okay, and then we go to the player character under genetic info, and we replace quick recovery with desperation to test it. Then we jump into a battle. We let our HP dip below 15%, and we launch an absolute nuclear missile that should obliterate them in one shot. So we're looking for something like around 18 or lower, approximately. Ah, get him, get him, get him! Okay, it doesn't look like it's working. Okay, let's read the output log. It says P damage 0, P crit 0, P hit 0, PDR 2. Base 0, scale 2. This is the defender's logic. Okay. Desperation 3. Oh, because I made 2 incredible. I made 3 not incredible. No, wait. No. I scaled the damage. No, yes, that's correct. These are not the individual tiers. These are the ranks, the effects. Okay. So this didn't work. Why did this not work? Let's go to stat gain. Show debug message passive. So this is not triggering. At no point did we ever see desperation show up in the log. So we're not reaching the stat gain step. We're failing somewhere sooner. Let's do... Okay, let's turn on these debug messages. Sit rep and valid. All right, let's see what we get. Just gonna go in with a kick right away and see the readout. Okay. I mean, I still have to hit, but I did hit. The initial attack, not this one. Okay, I got a hit in. So let's see here. Thorny Hide, Osteoderms, Desperation 3. Here we go. Here's the logic, right here at the bottom. Desperation 3 passed a 1 and a 0. That was at the very end. That should have definitely double passed. So it's the logic check has failed. Sit rep passed with a 1. Valid did not pass. Check subtype validity. So we didn't add anything to this, so apparently this is just not coded. Oh, global. Wait, is that actually used? Hold on. Resistance bleed. Low stamina, on attack, low health, all. So that's all. Global. Oh, this is the problem. All should just be global. Interesting. I just changed the syntax for no reason when I wrote out the later abilities, I guess. I don't think there was any intent behind this difference. Okay. Let's look back at the first one. On attack, bite, global. Bite attacks have a... Wait, why does this even have global? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I think these are intended to be different. We have a problem. Oh, wait, no. This is the last one. Look at the first one was, yeah, on defend, always global. Inflict damage from every attack. Yeah, because this is looking for a subtype. This is looking for everything. No, this should be right. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you taking a walloping? Oh, minus 506 HP! It worked. Desperation crank damage fucking obliterated him. Alright, cool. So then we just go back to here. We verified the effect works. Now we reset it back to a sane value. Okay, let's add this. Implemented, verified. Implemented and verified. Next is aggressive. Critical hits generate stamina. Attack modifier global. Critical gain stamina. Okay. So I don't think we have logic for this. So we pass. This is a modifier. If split info 1 is chance or low health. So this doesn't apply currently. Split info 0 is on attack. Should this be here? That's the real question. P list comes out of the parsing of the passives. Show debug message P list. After placing 150 feeders, you got E. coli. Congratulations on the E. coli. That's about the only time anybody's going to say that. Yeah, that achievement, that was definitely the hard one to do. For such a simple thing, it was annoying to, like, you had to specifically kind of try to seek it out. Also, welcome to the stream, Squarish Plum. Okay. So I'm not sure where I want to implement this. Let's look at this stuff. What do we actually do with attack and defend effect logic? Also, the music pause? What's going on? I am watching still, damn it. Keep playing. Okay, attack effect logic. Do we status? Or did we status? Okay. How do I... How do I implement this? I think we do it like this. Where did we put... Let's see here. Yeah. We do an array contains check. Okay. I think this is fine implementation of this. So, this is under the crit chance, this effect. Did we crit? Did we hit? Pre-dam, D-dam, damage value, crit mod. So crit mod is coming from where? Here it is. Crit chance, crit value, floor the value, crit mod equals 1. If crit 2, below crit chance. Crit mod changes. Did we crit becomes 1. This is specifically for the attacker. So we do this. Let's do this, actually. Yeah, we do... If the attacker is the player... The check for the aggressive ability is simply this. Check for aggressive tier 1. From the player character. If aggression exists. You're gonna head out, Muto? Alright, thanks for coming by. I'll catch you later. This is... the player's stamina value needs to be modulated here. Global.pc stam. Plus equals 5. Wait a second. Okay, we got a capital and a lowercase. Because it should never be capital. Yeah. Move it up PC stam equals 100. This can be moved, actually. This doesn't need to be here. Okay, so the attacker is the player. We do the aggression check, which simply checks if the aggressive passive is on the player character passive list. If the aggression check is passed, we apply the rank 1 ability for aggressive, which is gain 5 stamina because we crit here. This is all embedded in the crit logic. And then if the global stamina value for the player is exceeding the maximum value, then it is set to the maximum value. And we just repeat this 2 more times for the different tiers. Like this. Two, 3. And this becomes 10 and 15. And then, yeah, we add the reset value down here after all of these checks are done. And then we duplicate this for the enemy character. Which, again, there's better ways to configure this, but I don't want to rewrite other stuff, so we're just plugging it in, maintaining the syntax we've used previously. And now we just have to replace every PC with an EN here for the right data structure. Alright, so let's do this. Let's set rank 3 to plus 150 stamina. This is kind of a bad way to code this because this is non-scalable. This is like bypassing the actual effectiveness of the ability. This is just doing it. This is kind of shit. It's actually really shit. Because if you ever added a variation of aggressive, this just wouldn't work. I'm not going to change it. Am I not going to change it? We're doing the parsing here. I think I'm going to leave it. I think we leave it flagged as something that needs to be changed because there will be other passives that maybe influence the way this should be implemented. Yeah, this is sufficient for a first pass. Also, this code should probably all just be rewritten anyway. But this could theoretically be a production thing. Alright. Okay, rank 3 aggressive. But then I'm going to go to the attacks. Sorry, the attack dictionary. We're going to make kick guaranteed crit. I'm like at 128%. We'll remember the original value there. Yeah, so we can essentially kick, like, infinitely, because they'll always crit. So it's working as intended. Perfect. Okay. If I were a superhero, what would be my weakness? What would be my weakness, conceptually? Motivation? Apathy? Goth girls. Alright, so that's implemented. Back to the script. Change the stamina gain to be the real value of 15. I'll save that. Okay, that's implemented. Implemented and verified. Let's add implemented, verified, but implementation needs to be reworked. It's kind of hard coded. Not even kind of. It just flat hard coded. It just is hard coded. There's no check. It's literally just saying, is it aggressive? There you go. Gain 5 defense every time damage taken until the end of the fight. How to implement that? Okay, so this is on defend. This should have that implementation. On defend buff. Should it? Yes, I think so. Undefend buff death. I think we should probably have a buff timer inherently. I think we can just ignore it though if we just do like base of 60 seconds and a scale of 0. Let's make a note. 60 is for buff timer, but this is permanent. So 60 seconds for full round. What other buffs do we have? Buff immediate hot. This is again like infinite timer. Maybe that's why I had numbers here originally. This was probably timer. Okay, so I think this should be moved. I think this should be here. This one needs to be thought about. Think about this implementation. Oof. So this should be like per tick buff. Let's call this timed buff. How do I implement this? Let's think about this for a second. Let's just so we have a timer that has to tick down. Should probably implement some sort of buff manager. We generate a buff, it's stored in the code somewhere, and the buff manager handles the de-implementation of it if the timer runs out. I think that's the way to do it. Okay, so we would have we need the time, the value, and the effect. Added to some sort of data structure. So probably we just do this under like a layout. When the layout is created. Yeah, here. Global.pc buffs equals I mean equals nothing, but then I need to configure it. I guess we just do it like an array, not a data structure. And then we'll propagate it with the effect, the value, and the timer, and then we'll systematically check the timers for every item in the array. I think that works. Global.pc buffs, global.en buffs. Now, do I implement... I think I want to implement additional variables. But let's do it this way. Let's do a global.pc buffs dot info global.pc buffs dot dam. Presumably this syntax works. I actually don't know if this works. I don't think I've ever generated a data structure this way. Actually, I'm kind of curious to know if this works. Show debug message global.pc buffs. Crashes. Well, name PC buffs index not set before reading it. Yeah, so this doesn't work. Okay, cool. So all we have to do, we just do this. Yeah, okay. Global.pc buffs equals I want to play Half-Life again, man. I should play Alex again. Oh, we did switch to Half-Life. We finished Half-Life 2. That's very fun. So previously I've always set it up where it's vars and I pass it. Presumably this works though. Let's make sure this is slightly different than the way I've implemented this previously. We'll run it like that. Okay. No crash. Info, damn. Okay, this works. Great. Cool. Works exactly the way it should. Okay. This is somebody's, like, extended thing. We should probably not listen to this. Just in case. Let's find another Half-Life soundtrack. Half-Life Alyx complete soundtrack. Half-Life Alyx OST combat only. Complete? Okay. All right, let's go to our passives and make sure we know everything we want to put under buff. Ooh, I can implement the timers directly. Opinion on Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played it, but I should. That's my opinion. My opinion is I should probably play the newer Zelda games, and I just have not. And honestly, I probably won't. Even though I own a Switch, I'm probably just not going to get around to it. There's too many games and not enough time on the planet. And I don't have enough, like, inherent fondness for Zelda for me to, like, seek it out, right? So, buff adds defense status. Buff adding a hot. Capitalized hot. Let's make a note of that. H-O-T. Accuracy, defense, damage, and evasion. Accuracy, defense, damage, and evasion. Okay. Yeah, that's everything for buffs then. Sure. Opinions on the likelihood of Link cucking his wife after several years of her being stuck as a dragon. I don't know the lore. I don't. Is this a thing? Is his wife a dragon? I don't feel qualified to answer this. Okay, so we do this. We do this. Now, do we actually need the info? Once a buff is applied with a timer and the effect, would I ever give a shit about the info? No. Fuck that shit. That goes away. Now, we got to think about stacking. No, we don't. We don't need to think about this. Whenever I think about this, I will be confused and have a small desire to try and find out. I don't. I don't have a desire to know about this. I'm fine. I'll survive not knowing. This is not going to keep me up at night. Alright. So... combat scripts. We go here. Damage value, PDAM, PDR, Crit Mod, Damran, DDAM. I think we'll implement all the buff effects directly at one time. Rather than go through piecemeal. So let's worry about not implementing the effect of the buff. Let's just get the buff tracking done. So, why is this one so yellow? It's because these are real numbers and this is not. This is a string. I know why it's like that. I just didn't expect to see it like that internal to the structure. Okay, on defend. I need to copy this passive over, actually. Okay, value 0 is on defend. We check the situation. We check the subtype. If both are valid, then the mod stats are applied. So this should be... maybe a double global. Or I embed the buff code in the check. Let's look at these again. Always chance or low health. So this would be always, and the other one would be global. Undefend, always global, and then buff def. Okay. Okay. So now it passes this. Modded stats, string.split, split info 3. Okay, so this is, if it's not an effect, it's a numeric thing. If it is an effect, we're going to do the thing, which looks for scale and duration. So we would just add a new if modded stats J is buff. Just plug in some junk there. If modded J does not equal effect and does not equal buff, do this. If it equals buff, do this. If it equals effect, do this. Chance on attack. So for the attackers and for the defender, chance on defend. Same thing. Okay. So now we have the spot where we plug in the buffs in the code at least. And the logic is correct for everything else. Split info 4. Modded stats is split info 3. Yeah, so split info 4. Okay, so this should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I did this as a plus, so we'll put it as a plus. Buff to be applied. So this would be death. Okay, let's go back to the passive dictionary and update the text for this. So starting with enduring, always global buff. On defend, always global buff. Defense. This shouldn't matter. The first word determines the timing. So once the timing is decided, the rest of it can be dealt with later. This one, we got to think about implementation. Because it's conditional. It's conditional on another effect being active, which is awkward. This should be... Yeah, this should be done like this, I think. If the opponent is bleeding, then implement the buff. I think we'd call this on bleed. Basically, whenever a bleed is applied to the opponent, it should also trigger this effect, which adds this buff for a duration equivalent to the bleed. That makes sense. And this one's on a tick rate. Per tick. So this should also be an immediate. No, this one should definitely kick in. Yeah, okay. That should be fine. And this should be an immediate. Immediate buff. Let's change this. Increase. Yeah, this goes here. Increase accuracy, evasion, damage, and defense by 0.30. For the first N seconds of the fight. This is one that actually has a timer, which is different. Unlike everything else. Immediate buff, increase these effects for the first X seconds. Yeah, so in the same way everything else implements a timer for a given buff, this one also implements the timer. And this is only for the description, which is why it has to be in the order that matches the syntax of what the internal timer is looking for. And then the rest of these are the specs. Oh no, there's more. This one, immediate buff, stamina. This is not exactly a buff. This is some other effect. We'll call this literally effect. Immediate effect stamina. Because this is just at the start of the battle implementing a change to a number. This, on the other hand, this is properly a buff. Because if out the gate was a stamina rate, that would be valid. Which is probably how we should be implementing the other thing. What was it? Yeah, this one. Quick recovery. This should just be... Well, no. This implementation can't be a buff. Because HP changes back. There's no inherent timer connected to it. Yeah, that just stays. A better implementation possible / likely. Okay. Let's look at enduring again. On defend, always global buff defense. Yes. Okay. To the script. Oh yeah, shoot, the plus thing. Was it pluses? I think we should probably just use and, honestly. Oh, no, there's a functional difference. Which is that and is separate numbers. Let's make a note. And implies separate buff scales. Plus does not. At least that's the logic we're going with for now. Okay. So we split this by the plus, that is the number of buffs to be applied. So we have the rank. Oh shit, there's another red index val. Fucking what? How did this code work? How did any of this code run? Re-index value. Re-index value. Yeah, there's no fucking... Re-index, re-index. Re-index value. Wait, but this... Okay, that's re-index. Only one of these was typoed? Ah, so we were bug fixing by modifying the player, which was less broken than the enemy, maybe? So we just happened to not run into the break condition? The typo escaped notice, I guess. Okay. So 4... Let's call this M. For M... M is a real? N? Oh, maybe it's M because it's defined here. Yeah. Okay. Plus plus M. Or M in the range of the effects. So pass info is the effect. Did I ever... I guess we just take this. Wait, name 2? Why do we use pass name 1 versus name 2? Oh, because name 2 is the attacker, not the passive. Yes. Never mind. Logical preserved. Global.passive master. Pass name 1. We want the base value. We want the scale value plus rank times P rank. This is just rank. Define here. Okay. Global.PC buffs. This is specifically on attack. No, we want attacker. Okay, so we do if attacker absolutely equals Wait, this was never used? That seems weird. This must be used somewhere. Otherwise, why is it here? Well, anyway, we don't need to check the attacker, right? Wait, we probably do. What the fuck? Attacker. If attacker... So it was used here for did we status, which has just been removed? Yeah, did we status has just been killed. Interesting. Player and enemy. So yeah, we still use this though. It'll come in useful here, I guess. So if the attacker is the player, so on attack, if it's a buff and the attacker is the player, which is where the attack is coming from, then we have this, which is then global.pc buffs with a $sign. FSM. Is incremented by this level. If attacker is the player, why is this still throwing an error? Because this is not like this. Okay. So if it's a buff, if the attacker is the player, go through the effects, add them to the buff list. Which is base value 0. Zero. And then we do the same thing for the timers, which is index 1, index 1. This was underscore timer, I believe. Let's check the data structure under layout. Back underscore timer. Global.en buffs, global.pc buffs. Timer. Also, let's make a quick swing over here again. So we have HOTS. Buff stamina, buff movement. Gain stamina. Stamina gain. Let's call this stamina rate. And then let's just call this stamina. So stamina, the raw value, rate, the rate of gain. Except this should be one thing, because we can't have the variable be 2 words. We'll call it stam rate. Okay, but then when we go to here, stam rate 0. movement 0. And let's also add a note. Buffs are inherently time-based effects, but some may be full round 2. Will this cause issues? Kinda. What if I have 2 effects that are competing? Like, I have this effect on hit that I gain defense. What if I have one also when I'm, like, low HP? These might need to be arrays. Yeah, let's do it. That's the better way to do this. These should all be arrays instead of zeros. So we just do these as arrays, and then every separate thing is propagated to it with its own timer. And then they all stack properly. And this includes long, like, infinite duration effects that are caused by passives. And that's fine. And then in the logic where these are implemented, we need to sum the array, which we can write a function for, or maybe there's a default thing that makes it work. Okay, so that changes this syntax. This is now discrete values that have to be pushed to the array. Array push should be the syntax, right? Array push, value variable that holds the array, value to push into the end of the array. Yes. Push to the timer the thing as well. And then closing parenthesis on both of these. Okay, so the buff is implemented for the scale and the time. If the attacker is the player. If attacker is the enemy. Then enemy buffs is the only thing that The only thing that changes is where these are stored. Okay. Is this implementation complete? I think so. But the buffs still don't do anything, but the implementation's completed. Now, this is on defend. So these are passives that are happening because you've been attacked. So these should be inverted. If the attacker is the enemy, then it's applied to the player. And then we want to do show debug log, no, debug message for global.pc buffs. Right, and then we go to the genetic info and we change aggressive 3 to enduring 1. Let's do enduring 3. Fuck it. So this should be gaining 15 defense every time we get hit now. Okay, it's working. Yeah, defense increases by 15, 15, 15, 15 because we've been hit 4 times. Timers are at 60, 60, 60, 60 because the timer implementation's not implemented. Great. All right, we don't need to see the outcome. All right, quick break. So I think we can do the timer last. So now we need to specifically implement all of these, I guess. So let's make note. Damn, death, accuracy, evasion, hot. Stam rate, and movement. So is this stam rate here used? Right, it wouldn't be done here anyway because this is not ticking. Unit speed, global.pc stam rate. Are these? Still hard coded? Global.pc.move. Okay. Speed equals unit speed equals 1. $1.25. Lobby layout. No. Title stuff. Move 1.0, stamp 4. Okay. But this doesn't handle stamina, only movement. global.pc.stam. Global.em.stam. Okay, so stamina was properly implemented. Right, because we were in here before adding the other thing. But movement maybe isn't. Let's just test this. If we go to enemy, creation, unit speed is defined as 1. Just make this 10. And see if it just zips across the screen. Which I think it will. Yup! He came at me so fast. Holy shit. Okay, so on creation, unit speed. Global.en .mob. Which means it's true for the player as well. And this should be unit speed equals global.pc.mob. Stamina rate is unused. If attacking are greater than 0, speed is 0. If X is less than 0, direction 180. This. So, per step, we can do this. We can do speed equals unit speed, which is still preserved from here. Wait, image speed, image speed, image speed, speed. Wait, what? Okay, speed is movement, image speed is the frame rate. Which is non... Image speed defaults to 0. But then it changes itself here. Ah, yeah, so then when you release the key, it resets to 0. Great. Speed is 0. And then we have these additional stepwise conditions that set it to 0. Wait, yeah, so I don't need to modulate this here. I can just modulate this on key press. Speed is unit speed. Image speed is unit speed. Right, we just do plus. Oops. Plus. Sum? No. Let's look at if there's a default way to sum an array. Game maker, sum array. Finding the sum of an array. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a default. Should we bring back Anomalocaris? Sure. Why not? Finding the sum of an array in a step event. That's the same thing. Is this going to be... Because I don't want to sum this now. I don't want to be performing this calculation infinitely. Okay, I know what we do. I know what we do. There's a good way to handle this. We do a third layer in the data array here. Which is this, but the sum. And this defaults to 0. And now when we do the buffs here, we also array push, or we don't array push, we do this value. Plus equals this. Oops. Sum plus effects plus equals this value. And then when we do the timer expiration, we just subtract the value off again, and it's equivalent to summing the list, and they don't have to perform the calculation. It's way better. It's not, probably this calculation's not going to be that expensive ever, but definitely, like, it could become expensive because we're doing it on a stepwise basis. If we perform it 60 times a second, we might actually notice the effect. It might actually affect the frame rate of the game, the processing speed. I did the bug check, right? Yeah, we verified this was working. Suppress the debug check. Player to player, enemy to enemy. Enemy to player, player to enemy, yes. So this syntax stays the same. Okay, then when we go to here, this is now unit speed plus global dot PC buffs global dot PC dot. It doesn't exist here, but that should be fine. Because this doesn't exist anywhere else. Yeah, it is one word. Global.pc buffs. Global.pc buffs. Dot movement. Right? I don't know if this works. I'm gonna have to move this out in the code and then reset it every round. Let's test it. Let's see if the game crashes when we try to move because malformed assignment. Here. Oh, I still have the extra parenthesis at the end because it used to be the append function. Or not append, but whatever, the equivalent array push. Here and here. Okay, it did crash. Illegal array use. Oh, because I'm not doing sum. But, okay, it knows it's an array, which is a good sign. Now this should be some movement. Okay, yeah, movement's fine. So it doesn't matter that it's initialized in kind of the same place. It's fine. Okay, so movement is done. We need stamina rate, which we're just looking at. That was at... actually, hold on. Gotta implement this for the baryonics. Direction backwards, direction forwards. Speeds are 0. Speed equals unit speed plus global dot en buffs. Some movement. Unit speed plus this, unit speed plus this, unit speed plus this. Unit speed plus this, unit speed plus this. And it is initialized with speed equals unit speed. So initialize with the buffs. Should be good. We'll test it real quick, might as well. We got a crash. Very unexpected crash. EN buff's not set before reading it. Okay. So. On creation, alarm audio play, buffs, buffs. Vars. Instant create depth attack buttons. Oh, is that because this is initialized here? Interesting. What if I just do... That doesn't count till the first tick? If the creation doesn't do it here... Does this work? Because hopefully it all happens in one tick, right? Okay. Well, that's fine then. Everything gets initialized in the first, fraction of a second, and then when the timers kick in, then this happens. Let's make a note, though. This happens before the buff data structure exists during setup. This doesn't cause an issue currently, but what if it was laggy? Question mark. What if this setup was delayed enough that the first tick tried to fire? You would hope the first ticks don't happen until the room is set up. That this is essentially a load screen event, and then this is once it's loaded. One would hope that the above comment isn't an issue, and this is effectively handled on the load screen, so to speak. Okay. So this is where the stamina is boosted. Global.PC stamina divided by room speed. This is the new rate. Okay, so we want to do probably this, and this, and then this, and then this. PC buffs dots. PC buff? Fuck. Dot sum stamina. Some stam rate. Damn it. EN buffs, EN stam, quick recovery, and then cooldowns. Okay. So that implements the stamina buffs. We can do the hot handling here. The global.pc buffs dot hot, some hot, right? Global.pc buffs dot some hot, capitals, correct. Where do I initialize HP? Oh, player HP.HP. Wait. Oh, because it's the object. On creation, HP is global.pc. Okay, yes. The object is tracking that. That's good. That's great. Object-oriented programming, right? Good stuff. This doesn't need the global because this is an object. Object player HP.HP. Plus equals the some hot value. And if the HP is higher than the max HP, then the current becomes equal to the max. Current equals max. So if there's a hot value currently in the code, increment the HP by the amount. If it exceeds the max, set it to the max. And then we just repeat this for the enemy. Global.en buffs, some hot. And this is player HP, enemy HP. Acrocanthosaurus, thoughts? Cool dinosaur? I don't know if I have more thoughts than that. It's not my favorite theropod, but it's a pretty cool one. I like the implementation of it in JWE well enough. Also, welcome to the stream, Drake Claw. Okay, so enemy HP increments by the enemy's buffed hot value. If it exceeds, set it to the max. Enemy, 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 enemy. Looks good. That should be HOTS implemented. Cross that off the list. So now we just have the implementation of the individual stat buffs, which should all be handled under the attack scripts. I can just implement it here, I think. This is always happening. This is one place where we have these 4 stats on hand. And then these are always added to. Yeah, so this should work. We initialize these at whatever value is the sum of the buffs, rather than 0. Some damn... Wait a second. No, crit doesn't have... Well, crit should have a buff value. We just didn't have any effects that add modified crit. So let's make a note to add crit and circle that before we end the stream. This is sum of accuracy, and this is sum of death. So we still have to implement evasion, because evasion's not handled here in these, like, modulated effects. The other thing we have to do is this. If attacker is enemy, yeah, don't have those commas there. Okay, yeah, because I embedded this in a data structure. I was like, why is this flagged red? The answer is because I'm fucking stupid. Attacker is player. Global.pc buffs. PC buffs. PC buffs and PC buffs. Should be good. Wait a second. DR should be inverted, right? Let's make sure that makes sense. PDR. Wait, hold on. Parse passives. Okay, these are replaced here. Yeah, so we don't initialize it here. Wait, are they replaced here? PDR initialized with the buff value. Mod stats. This is mod dat. Array push mod dat.def effect logic scale duration. Return mod dat. Implement stat gain n mod dat new string plus equals n. Okay, yes, so this is preserved. This transfers correctly. Parse the passes becomes the P list. These replace these. If crit I think PDR is supposed to not even be actual damage, right? That's why it's flagged here as passive damage reduction. PDR should always just still be 0. Should initialize at 0. These are the only ones that have buffs. We can figure this out for sure if we double check the passive dictionary and the wording of the armored scoots or whatever it was, osteoderms. On defend, always global DR, prevent damage from every attack. Flat value, as opposed to a bonus to the stat, which is calced differently. Okay. So that implements damage and accuracy. And then we got to add crit. We got to do defense and evasion separately. So, so we go to layout. We go to create. We go here. Actually, let's just do it at the very end. Wait, why are... Oh, these don't have timer put in correctly. Timer, 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 timer. Okay, so crit array, comma, some crit, 0, comma, crit timer array. Right? Yep. Sorry, not equals, colon. Okay, so there's crit rate buff, hit rate buff. Ooh, wait a second. Accuracy is a stat, and accuracy as its effect happens in game are not necessarily the same thing. Let's look at this. P hit. Let's find the accuracy calc. Hit chance is the hit value modulated by the difference between the attacker's attack and evasion plus the hit bonus. Yeah. These are not equivalent. The only one that should be like this is the crit value one. Because that one will be handled that way. But a flat damage bonus is not the same as a stat damage bonus. P dam, P hit. Okay. Crit 2, crit chance. PDR is set to 0. The hit rolls, the chance rolls. The dice are generated. So hit chance. Global dot attacks hit times attack your accuracy plus global dot fuck. Where's attacker accuracy defined? Here, under resolve attack. Wait a second. Maybe we can just feed this into the front of resolve attack. Attacker damage, defend or defense, attacker accuracy, defender evasion. I think we can. So this is used by the attack buttons, I think. Current PC damage, defense. Resolve attack here. Resolve a player attack, player attack, player attack. Okay, this works. Yes, right here is where we plug in. So we do... Yeah, we do it here. Some dam. Death. Accuracy. Evasion. With these two being enemy. Enemy defense, enemy evasion. Okay. So those are good. Now we need the equivalent effect under the enemy AI. That's this. Except these are then inverted. So EN. EN. PC. EN. PC. PC. I don't know why that wouldn't let me key up. I have to hit enter for some reason on that one specifically. And this should be en.weak, pc.weak, en.para, pc.para. And that replaces these. That should be it. So that should be everything implemented then. Defense, damage, evasion accuracy, heal over time, stamina rate, crit, and movement for buffs. So now we need the timer, the buff like timer. Let's make this an object. Object buff timer. Add event stepwise. Whoops. Then this goes into the battle screen and just gets chucked in there with the other background processes. And that should be it. We don't have any code on that, of course. We still have to write that. Let's make sure this all works. We might have broke some shit. It's always a possibility, especially if we typoed anything. Looking good so far. Okay. I mean, obviously we're going to lose, of course, but, you know, that's expected. No, I'm getting fucking destroyed. This is one of our worst rounds ever. Bled out completely. Only hit the thing once. Did 7 whole damage before we died like a bitch. 127, 114, 105, 120, 189, 97, 90. Actually crazy. It's really the bleed that gets us there. It really just is the bleeds are OP, I guess. Okay, well, I think we can wrap the stream up here. This is a good spot to leave off because we verified everything we did there with the buff stuff worked. Now we just need to properly implement buff timers. So let's just make a note. This code will check the buffs, decrement the timers, and remove buffs when they expire. It must update timer array, buff array, and sum of the buff array. Let's just pseudocode it real quick. For an item in, for an index in array length. Hey, can you not tell me to do shit when I'm pseudocoding? So we take we iterate every tick over the length of the buff array. Timer array minus equals 1 over room tick rate. So they count down fractionally because the 60 FPS or whatever, right? So we do if timer array index is 0. No, don't fucking tell me to do a thing. If timer array index is 0, timer and corresponding buff and minus equals buff value from summed buff value. That's it. That's all it should be. Then we do it again. All right, let's comment out all this. That way we don't leave something that bricks the game implemented. All right, that looks good to me. That's a good enough spot to leave off. I could probably do this quickly enough, but I'm not gonna. All right, implementing. So we don't have a backup. I should pin my GitHub directory and save directly to that. Alright. Actually, does this have... create executable and launch? Does this have GitHub, like, integration? Export YYZ as template. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Alright, well, that'll be it for the stream. I'll catch everybody later. We'll probably do another one of these on Thursday.